Hello once again and welcome to my YouTube channel by yours truly, Doc Jed Mendoza. We're here because we need to talk about psychology, education, and everyday life in simple and meaningful ways. I am your host, a psychologist and an educator to discuss something about important topic. And what is this all about? This is all about what is mental health in relation to psychology as a study of human behavior. So isn't it exciting? So with that, let's start to talk about something very important as part of the discussion for today's podcast. First, let us understand the meaning of mental health. What's all about it? I suppose everybody has an idea on it already. Though, if we wish to get into the details of it, mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It actually affects how we think, feel, behave, handle stress that relates to others, and make decisions in our everyday life. And that speaks on psychology. Also, mental health is not only about having a mental illness. Please be noted on that. It is also very important in having a balanced inner peace, healthy relationship, and the ability to cope with life challenges. So now, how is this connected to psychology though? And with that, this is very much important. It is connected to psychology in line with our previous episode discussing personality development because how can we develop our personality if we have mental disorder or some abnormalities, sorry to say that. Psychology is, therefore, the scientific study of human behavior and mental processes. Please be noted, ladies and gentlemen, that it is not only people in the mental institution have mental disorder. Sad to say again, but also people living with us are also sometimes behaving some abnormalities. And when we say abnormalities, these are the people around us that behaving some maladaptive behavior. These are the people who are taking some medications, having some hormonal imbalances and the like. So, psychologists study why people think, act, react, feel in uncertain ways is very much important, especially if we have loved ones who are undergoing such procedures. Mental medications and the like are also affected by this situation. So we need to educate ourselves for people who are in this situation as well as with the family circle who is part of the family circle of the patient. So through psychology, we can learn that human behavior is influenced by many factors such as number one, emotions. Let's be noted, ladies and gentlemen, that sometimes emotions are deceiving. When I said deceiving, it sometimes people are becoming judgmental when somebody is taking medication. Sometimes misperceive the behavior or maladaptive behavior. So we need to consider and be educated on what's undergoing to the patients who's into such situation. At the same time, for the patient to understand what's happening inside me. Why am I behaving the way I am? So, educating oneself in terms of emotional condition should be learned and understand for you to know how to control emotions. As growing individual, we are becoming responsible to ourselves. Please be noted on that. Same way, I'm saying this because the environment has a big contributory factors, especially once an individual is taking medication and the people around is not aware to what you're undergoing with. Meaning, if they are not aware that you're taking some psychiatric medication, just an example. So we need to learn how to cope with the situation despite of some stresses that we are encountering. That's why environment, emotions matters. Same way with the family experiences. These are the things very important that somehow in one way or the other influence the maladaptive behavior of an individual. Stresses add on to the injury. So try to be in the shoes of the patient who's taking medications because of some hormonal imbalances and experiencing some stresses with the workplace, with the family. You know, it's too hard on the part of the patient itself. In the same way, for the people around who are not aware with the condition of this patient, they might be an add-on to the injury of the said patient. So culture matters and even biological condition. That's why it's very important for us to be educated on the physiological anatomy that's undergoing to one's individual. So for an example, just to be detailed on the things that I'm discussing right now, when a person becomes easily angry, withdrawn, or anxious, psychology helps explain the possible reasons behind those maladaptive behavior. So this is very much important because mental health and psychology are closely connected because psychology helps an individual understand where she or he is undergoing with, how the mind works, how behavior develops, and how people can improve emotional wellness. So good mental health often leads to, number one, positive behavior. So if you understand that your human anatomy, which has something to do with the genetic factors, that it becomes dominant on you, why you're becoming emotional and the like. So knowing this will somehow helps you to understand positive, to become optimistic, to become positive behavior, to learn how to combat with the situation, better relationship with family circle, friends, and the like. It could also help you to improve learning. Okay, if you are knowledgeable with the limited intelligence, because intelligence is also genetics. Okay, and also healthier decision making because especially when you're working for a major decision which affects your entire life, like transferring or moving from one workplace to another state. Like for example, you're here in the States, so it's a major decision to decide on. So with that, how can we be able to apply this in more real life situation as an application? Okay, so in our daily life or everyday life, when taking care of our mental health includes getting enough rest. So sleep is very much important for us to understand. If we could have 8, 10, especially if you're aging, much better. Taking supportive people, be with the optimistic people than people with the pessimist, much better. Okay, get away from people who are pessimists because it will trigger your situation. Practicing self-care, eating healthy or balanced diet. Okay, praying or meditation like yoga, workout, exercise, so that you could be able to have a work-life balance and at the same time seeking professional help when needed. Okay, so it's very important for you to know the simple but important because it is necessary because it will affect your entire life or your daily life with your relationship. So just a closing message as we end today's episode. Always remember that understanding human behavior begins with understanding your mind, understanding your human anatomy as well, the genetic factors that becomes dominant on you. Because mental health is an important part of being human, and psychology that helps us to become a better person in a way to understand oneself. And with that, thank you so much for listening to my podcast for today. Again, yours truly, Dr. Jad Mendoza. Stay healthy, stay kind, and keep learning. So, see you again next episode. Don't forget to like, share, follow me not only in this YouTube channel but as well as to my Facebook account, Wellness Psychological Services. Thank you so much and have a blessed day ahead. Bye bye.